I'm James Ling, founder of the Property+ system, and today I shall explain to you and share with you about 2021 property market. We shall look at the current scene, the supply and demand, and also where are the market opportunities that you can look out for during this period of time. So let's look at this 1 year ago, what is happening. Now, around April period, we have our Singapore circuit breaker, okay? And this is, of course, definitely, we all know that it's actually due to COVID. And when the government announced that we have going to start a circuit breaker, you can see that analysts all over start to panic a bit, and they predict that there may be a 8% full drop in private home prices. But looking at it right now, 1 year right now, and looking at our phase 2, what is happening is totally different, okay? And you can see that from this period of time, you can see that in the April news, HDB resale prices actually climbed 2.8%, while there is also an increase of pricing in the resale market and also the private development. So why is this so? I shall explain to you. Now let's look a little bit more at the data more specifically. You can see that for the HDB market on the right hand side, there is actually an increase in the private index by 3.1%, while it is increasing more than the private property index, while the private property index actually increased by 2.1% as compared to the HDB market. So HDB is actually increasing more than the private, which is something that is actually very weird. But why is it weird? Let me explain to you. Now, why is this happening? Basically, it's of 4 reasons, and which this entire presentation is about these 4 reasons. The first is about our Singapore market confidence when it comes to property. Secondly, we talk about our interest rate, and of course the arrow actually goes down, which means right now we are having very low interest rates, and this low interest rate will cause people to be more attracted to take a loan from the bank and to purchase properties. Okay. Thirdly, we have a very low or decreasing demand supply, and fourth reason is that we have an increase of demand in properties. Okay, so for our next slide, we shall talk exactly about the interest rate, and for this interest rate, we shall talk about this thing called the SIBOR rate, because this SIBOR rate will pegged to all the interest rate. SIBOR rate stands for the Singapore Interbank Offer Rate, and you can go to my website over here to find the interest rate that is updated monthly. So let's look again at this SIBOR rate. If you go to my website, SG Luxury Condo, you can actually click on Tools, and then from Tools that time, you can actually go down all the way to, from Tools, you can actually go down to the latest SIBOR interest rate over here to find what is the interest rate. So you can see from this interest rate right now, as compared from the last 5 years, interest rate is actually at the all-time low. So effectively, if you were to take a loan from the bank, you know, you can actually, your interest rate is effectively 1.1, 1.2%, and it is highly likely that it will continue to remain low as long as the US Fed do not spike or increase the interest rate. So from the US side, they also would like to increase to remain interest rate low because they want to recover your economy. Okay, looking at Singapore itself, I believe that the government would still like to stimulate our economy, therefore they would like to keep interest rate low. So the first reason I just like to share is that interest rate will remain low. With low interest rate, there will be an increase of demand. Secondly, let's look at market confidence. Market confidence will be talking basically about what is happening in the market in general, the story behind it, and especially why demand has increased. So let's take a look at the beginning. So we will talk about this group of buyers that is aged between 20 to 30s. I will call them the young couples. And young couples, because of budget limitation, they are most likely prefer to buy a BTO or build to order. And right now, because in Singapore, we have a shortfall of the number of construction workers in Singapore, therefore, the government has, or the HDB has actually announced that for a BTO, it will take 5 to 6 years to fully construct. So let's imagine we have a young couple, average age of roughly 28 years old. That is our Singapore rough marriage age, and they intend to buy a BTO to do some family planning, you know, to have baby. And when they want to buy, when they are 28 years old at a time and they apply for a BTO, and the government tells them that it will take 6 years to construct, effectively, when they have their house at time, they are 34 years old. Are they going to stay with their parents all the way to 34 years old? unlikely. Therefore, you will see this major group of buyers, what they do is that instead of buying a BTO, they went forward and go towards the resale market. They will go towards either the resale HDB market or the resale condo market. Basically, when they are buying these two, the demand for these two resale market will actually shoot up. And with an increase of the resale market, definitely the price will go up. Okay. Now, the next group of buyers is that when they sell your HDB or when they sell your resale condo to these young couples, what are they going to do? And I shall categorize them as under upgraders. These are the upgraders who has actually earned a profit and they decide to upgrade. You know, they own a property for maybe 10 years, they decide to sell your property and move on forward for your next dream home, where they may look for something that's bigger home, or likely they are going to look for this private property. Now, when they look for private property, they are going to look at two locations. The first, they are going to look at new launches, something that's actually brand new, under construction by the government. By private developers. Okay, and they'll prefer something that is going to be closer to the TOP date. Maybe in this year or next year they are going to TOP, or they are going to go for the resale condo market. So there's going to be a spillover effect on the resale condo market, where because they sold these upgraders, where they sold your HDB to young couples, they need to buy one and they will need to buy a resale market. That's why the price of resale condo also shoot up. Therefore, as a result, resale HDB has shoot up in value, resale condo has also shoot up in value. Right now, my concern is that these two areas are heavily overpriced, because we have heard of HDB that is 50 to 60k going above valuation. Right now in this year, there's an all-time record of HDB crossing the $1 million mark. Okay, so firstly, for this slide, in summary, there is an increase of market confidence. Number two, there's increase of demand. Let's look at the supply. For supply for the market itself, okay, there is two areas that we can look at. One is the resale market, and resale market is actually pretty limited. So because of this limitation and there's an increase of demand, that's why the price has shot up. While the other side of the spectrum, we have something that's called the new launch market, where the new launch market who is sold by developers is either en bloc, where right now you know that in the news right now there's not a lot en bloc, or the developers can buy land from government land sales. So here, let me show you some data from the government land sales. These are the government land sales every year by the government that is released to the developers to bid and to sell and to build. So in the past, in 21-2, 21-3, you can see that it actually crosses the 10,000 mark. Okay, it actually crosses the 10,000 mark, but right now, because we have a shortfall of construction workers, and also the government is more cautious. The government is not releasing a lot of land for the developers to bid. Therefore, you can see that from 2019 onwards, okay, government has actually released less land for the developers to build. And you can see that even for now, in the first half of 2021, it is like roughly only about 1,600 units. We expect maybe this land, maybe it may close to the 3,000 mark. Okay, but definitely will be below the 2019, that is 3,007 mark. Therefore, right now, what is going to happen that I believe is that with this shortage of land, developers have no choice, because they still need to do a business. They are going to go and do more en bloc in future, maybe in 2022 or 2023. Now, with this en bloc, this will also cause a spillover effect, where if more units get en bloc, okay, and developers right now, because of this entire COVID situation, they are limited to amount of money they can borrow from the bank. They are also going to bid more cautiously, and with this will have a spillover effect of this increased demand of en bloc, or the increased demand of the buyers for resale market, because when people en bloc their time, they sold your units to developers, they need to they also need to have a place to stay also. So what am I saying? What is my summary? My summary is that if we just look at the government land sales, there is a decrease of supply. and with this decrease of supply, people will jump into the resale market, and with basically resale, supply will actually decrease, which will cause price to go up. Now, is developers or are developers stressed right now? My answer is yes. Developers during this COVID period, they still have to do business. Okay, it is still business operational. Why are they stressed? Number one, they have many competitions. Remember from my previous slide, the government is not releasing a lot of land for sales. Okay, so as developers, they need inventory to sell. Therefore, when they go for bidding, number one, they are more cautious in bidding. They cannot bid too high. Okay, unless there's some developers who are very stressful, they have literally no inventory at all, they have no choice, they have to either go to en bloc or bid at a much higher pricing. Okay, and this is maybe something that we may be seeing next year or the year after, and this will cause an effect that new launches will start to be skyrocket. Okay, but number two also, besides developers being stressful and bidding very cautiously, they also has to sell their projects very carefully at a very good price. What I mean at this, let's look at this project that was actually launched in January 2021, earlier this year, okay, where the resale market is all selling high or selling above valuation, but UOL, okay, UOL itself, they actually sold 442 units at the average per square foot of 1640. Now, is this a good price for them? Let's look at it this way. Imagine developers have 4 years to sell. They are not stressful to sell all the projects out so fast. So if we look at the land cost, this land cost they bought at 788 per square foot per plot ratio. They add a 5% ABSD for them in total tax. There is a construction cost of $827 per square foot per plot ratio. Okay, and when you add up all this, the construction cost is 529 per square foot per plot ratio. Adding up these two, it will give you an estimated of 1356 per square foot per plot ratio. Okay, so now if they were to sell this, and you can see their selling price, you can see about average they have a 20% profit margin, which is considered something that is actually very cautious. Okay, during the good times, developers can actually make 30 to 40% profit. Now, this is just your break-even price. We did not even include on marketing costs, other miscellaneous fee at all. So your break-even, your total profit margin, you add up, right? You can see that the gross profit margin over here is about 20%. So at the beginning, when this development was launched in Clementi at the time, and when people heard of it that it's selling at 1,600 per square foot, the price seems to be very attractive. Therefore, a lot of people jumped into the bandwagon and they actually sold 442 units on the first day. Okay, and which means that it break record. And when from a developer point of view, when something break record at the time, when they sell too many units at the time, it only meant one thing, that they are selling your development too cheaply. The price is very attractive, a lot of people want to buy it. Okay, therefore the next day the news article came out, or rather 3 days later the news article came out in the Business Times. Did UOL price Claiborne launch too cheaply? Unfortunately for them, the answer is yes. But why is it so? It is good for buyers, but why it is also in a way good for developers, although they are not maximizing their profit, but they have less stress. How about other developers? Okay, and I shall answer this. What to buy, what you should be looking at in today's market, and I have 2 slides to share with you which I think will be interesting. Now, my question to you is that very simple. Would you like to buy something that's above market value, as what you can see in my previous few slides about the resale market? Or do you want to buy something that's actually something that's undervalued, but there is a time constraint? You have to wait. Okay, you have to exchange the pain of waiting and to buy something that is cheaper. Okay, so what am I talking about? Are developers stressed? Let's look at all these, and I shall show you various examples. Okay, for example, the first example of the hype. What are developers giving? They are actually giving 100,000 to 250,000 of discount. Treasure at Tampines, they are actually throwing what 90k rental subsidy, 5 bedrooms, 30,000 discount, and all these are to attract buyers. Okay, other type of promotion that they have, one price promo of 2 bedroom that are pool facing, that is by Dairy Farm Residences, up to 119k of discount. Let's look at one per bag itself, up to 8,000 discount, 8% of discount, and moreover on top of that, for the first 10 units, they are giving 68,000 to 100k discount. Let's look at Turquoise. Turquoise is actually a condominium located in Sentosa. They are actually giving 500,000 to 750,000 of discount, price as low as 1290 per square foot. So, and even the last one, this is actually one of my favorite, where this is actually Reveal is actually a new development that is going to TOP in 2023, and it is within the last 10 years was one of the developments that is along the river. So I think this is a very iconic project, and the developers are giving up to 500,000 of discount. So look at all these marketing gimmicks. You may call it marketing gimmicks, which is true. That are developers stressful? I feel that developer is stressed right now because they also have to move stock. There's not enough people coming to the show flat to buy. People are heading towards the resale market. So I'm just sharing with you where I feel the opportunity is in the market. Okay. Last but not least, this is maybe a very interesting slide for you. Where to buy? Which district to buy? So if we were to study, okay, we will study the price appreciation and transaction volume. Let's look at this. Now, for this area is what we call the number of units transacted. So, for over here are areas that has a lot of units transacted, which means high transaction volume means units are very liquid, okay, easy to sell. While on the y-axis, we have something called the average price growth, okay, where this is we basically talk about our profit margin. So, if you are looking for something that is high transaction volume, the sweet spot, or rather best, okay, if you want something that is giving you high profit growth, high profit volume, and someone that's easy to liquid, you should be looking at this quarter over here. Basically is projects that is like in District 14, Aljunied area, District 5, or District 19, Tampines, Pasir Ris area. So these are what I call opportunities that you may be able to look for. Okay, so these are some districts that I may recommend. Last of all, one more slide. Now, where to buy also? I shall also share with you about this private property price index, and I split this price index from Singapore price index into three different zones. Okay, now this can be found in my website. Let me show it to you. If you go down to tools and you go to the first one called the Singapore Property Price Index, okay? First of all, you will see over here, this is the overall property price index, and this shows from the beginning all the way. For this one is for the past 3 years. So if you want to zoom into the more exact for the past 3 years, you should be looking at this. And you can see that basically the price index actually been shot up. Now, I screenshot and take my data from over here, property price index by region, where I split into 3 different regions. Okay, so let me go back to my slide. My 3 different regions are my core central region, which is the lowest one, the red color one. The second one is the outside of central region, and the lastly is rest of central region. Okay, now take this as a stock market, as a stock, okay, there where you can do charting. Okay, which one will you buy? So for me, I will definitely ask my clients, my investors, to invest into a core central region. Okay, District 9, 10, 11, 1, 2. Okay, so why? Very simple reason. You can see right now is that the price over here is actually below the all-time high. Okay, price is pretty stagnant. Very simple reason is because right now, because Singapore is on lockdown, we do not have investors from overseas flying into Singapore to buy. Okay, and of course, investors overseas are actually eyeing the Singapore market, just that they are waiting to fly into Singapore to buy. So during this period of 2 years, right now, the market over here is pretty quiet. Okay, because this is where investors buy it. However, just now as I was sharing with you the story of HDB resale market shoot up, private property, resale market shoot up. And these two areas are where people buy mainly for own stay. And when people buy for own stay, they will prefer to buy within the suburbs area or rest of the, or maybe city fringe. That is why you can see also for the rest of central region, the price has actually shot up. And even so, even for the outside central region, you can see that the price is actually slowly climbing. Okay, so you must see when the opportunity market is. Okay, like for example, at that time in last year or 2019, I was saying that, oh, right now at that time, you know, at an all-time high, price to buy RCR is actually pretty good over here because the price of core central region is actually pretty high, so you should buy the rest of central region. But now I have actually just show you the core central region pricing is actually lower than the all-time high. Do expect, my last tip for you is that do expect that the price will start to shoot up once Singapore has a travel bubble, or when COVID ceases, the Singapore open the travel bubble up to other countries, and you will see a trend where foreign investors will come into Singapore to start to buy up all the core central region properties. And by then, that is where the core central region, the price will start to shoot up and follow the rest. So once again, thank you for listening to me for my video. I hope that you have learned something new today. If you like this video, please comment or click the like button, or please share it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, so long and bye.